Hello and welcome to glennzb TV, the show that puts glennzb up your Periscope. I'm bringing New Zealand to the world, and the world to New Zealand. And from the Dunedin Does It Again file, police have shut down an out-of-control party on Dunedin's, wait for it, not Castle Street, Stafford Street. Step up Stafford Street this afternoon. By this afternoon, I think they mean yesterday afternoon. So on a Sunday, wow, Sunday afternoon. There were about 300 students at the party. Sounds about right for a Sunday Arvo quiet one. But the decision was made to shut that party down at about 2 p.m. A St John's spokeswoman said they'd been called to the party multiple times, but only one person had been taken to Dunedin Hospital. So, you know. Although they had failed to find some patients they'd been called about. So what? I don't know what happened to them. Just staggered off, I suppose. Heavily intoxicated partygoers were climbing on neighbouring property roofs. Or roofs, depending on whether you say it correctly or incorrectly. And I'm not making a call on which is which. And also other heavily intoxicated partygoers urinating, vomiting on the street, on private property, blah, blah, blah. Only one man reportedly arrested for disorder. Good point, Bruce. Somebody better have had their stomach pumped or it's not really a party. Also, business owners were guarding their properties from partygoers. So I reckon that's how you know you've really nailed the party, is when people are actually having to stand guard like the night of the purge. Then your party's probably literally on fire. Robots are to blame for most things these days. We've got this new footage out from the Pike River disaster. And we've got people asking serious questions. Nobody seems to ask what the robot was doing there. Nobody's worried about that. There were some people in there, and after they'd been told that no people were allowed to go in there. Robots, fine. I think that perhaps the robot was the ringleader of the whole expedition, and that's why we're in the situation that we're in today. Here's some footage from that anyway, and some... Is it just me, or do some of these shots look a bit like pictures of the Sasquatch? You can sort of... I mean, is that a robot? It's that time of year. The Washington Correspondents' Dinner. Where the politicians make fun of the press make fun of the politicians. It's a hilarious time. Every time. And the feature speakers this time round, Woodward and Bernstein, famous for the Watergate, blowing the top off that whole scenario. And boy, oh boy, did they have the crack-up lines. Things like, wait for it, yes, follow the money, but follow also the lies! I don't know if I've delivered that quite correctly. They spoke for a long time. I've got a whole transcript here. Highlighted. What about another thing that Carl Bernstein said? Our job is to put the best obtainable version of the truth out there. Period. Especially now. Yeah, he delivered it a little bit. Let's see we'll try some Bob Woodward ones. He had a couple of juicy one-liners in there. Like this one. Mr. President, the media is not fake news. Let's take that off the table as we proceed. I mean, I'm not a professional comedian or anything. Finally, let's go. The most aggressive our search for truth, the more some people are offended by the press. So be it. Yeah, I don't know if it was one of the funniest correspondence dinners that's ever happened. Finally, what does it take to get selected to play for a top-level league team these days? I mean, obviously we've got the whole foreign thing with the Warriors. I mean, that seems to have worked out well for now, But there is that sense. Nobody really wants to say it, but I think there is that sense it's a ticking time bomb and it's going to be a massive disaster at some stage along the way. Anyway, now there's a bloke called Russell Packer who's been selected for the Kiwis in the Anzac Test. Been a little bit out of favour, Russell Packer, because a few years ago he spent a year in jail for a violent assault. Oh, I guess the opposition does have to take somebody like that seriously. I am glennzb. Fairly clean criminal record, so I probably won't ever get to play League. I will see you back here again tomorrow. Thanks for having me. Up your Periscope.